Hello everybody, welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing kind of like a little tutorial type of thing. So I really wanted to get this done before the beach trip actually happened, and that just didn't pan out the way that I hoped, so I'm sorry for the lateness of the video. But I'm basically going back in my dailies and doing it on the page that it's applicable to, which is July the 19th. So here's the deal. Before a trip, what I typically do is I will very sloppily map out everything. An example of that would be something that looks like this. I just use my spare composition book that I just keep. It's like my junk journal, basically, like my junk notepad that I just keep with me everywhere. And I just kind of go through and I map out the plan. Or in the beach case, I map out food that I would like to make or meals that will need to be cooked, things of that nature. And then from that, I will ask Jeff if there's anything that he needs me to get. Or in the case of the Orlando trip, I asked Taylor, is there anything in like specifically that she needs me to get? Because typically she's flying, so she can't bring stuff with her, so it's just easier for me to pick it up and put it in my car and take it with me. And if you guys want to know more about the planning process for that, please let me know. I would love to do a series of videos for that, and I've been thinking about that lately, but I'm really struggling with how to do that because it's kind of a 365 days a year living, breathing organism. And I know that when I told Jeff that, he was like, God, that sounds exhausting. It's actually not. It's just constantly that I'm getting ideas for things to do there or finding new places, new restaurants, etc. And I'm all kind of like filing them away in one way or another so that when we actually get down to, okay, this is what the plan is for those days, this is what we need, like I'll kind of plug in all the things we know, day, dates, times, specific dinners or specific things. And then from there, I just kind of flesh out like where are missing pockets. Okay, well, we have an open brunch here. Let's go through all the brunch places that we found over the last year. Which one do we really want to try out? That kind of thing. But in this case, just kind of going back to the main point and not getting on an ADHD runaway train, I asked Jeff if there's anything that he needs. In this specific case, he really wanted like a nostalgic lunch. So by the way, if you can hear my washing machine going, I'm really sorry. I'm doing tons of laundry after we got back. I'm going to switch into a voiceover mode here in a minute, so you won't have to listen to me babble through this whole thing. But essentially, I start out with a big messy plan of things that I want to cook. Which in this particular case, I wanted to make 3 quiches, 3 batches of cookies, 3 things of bagels, and I already actually had pickles pre-made, so I didn't have to do anything with that. But then there's kind of like extra things like, what do I want for lunch? What does Jeff want for lunch? Is there an appetizer I want to make? Which I did in this case, but I didn't actually end up making it. And then kind of like, what are things that we need to accompany other people's meals that they may not think to bring, or we don't want to depend on them? So in this case, someone was making chili, and I'm a big fan of Frito pie, so I wanted to make sure to get Fritos so that I could have that. If I need to ask anybody for anything, so in this case, Justin, Jeff's brother, does a lot of stuff with Scouts. So they have like the really big s'more sticks that they use for the camping trip. So I wanted to make sure those got brought. And then I make a grocery list that is pretty epic. I basically pick out what I'm going to get from which grocery store. So that could include all the grocery stores that are anything from like Sprouts, Walmart, Trader Joe's, Kroger, Target. I think I already said Kroger. Publix, I think I had to go there for Italian cheese because for whatever reason, they're like the only people to carry it around here anymore. But the point is that you take this big giant list of things that you want to do, so the meals that you want to make, break it down into an actual grocery list, and then from there, decide what groceries come from what location. So I've already done the messy version of this. So I'm going to do a pretty version of it here on this page in a voiceover. So before I do that, I want to show off product. So this is the Meals washi from once more with love. So if you guys saw that unpacking video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I am going to throw that down on the bottom of this page. Again, I'm really sorry about the washing machine in the background. You don't have to bear with it for long. We're just trying to be productive this morning. And then I am gonna do a orange swatch up here for kind of like the meals or the things that I need to make. And then I'm gonna use this gray. So the orange that I used was 912. I think that's a perfect match. And then I'm gonna use N65 as my gray to label different grocery stores. And I'm also going to half this page a little bit, but I think I wanna do it in pencil to start with. Again, so sorry for the background noise this morning. Traffic is also in full swing. If you guys are new, then you will not know that I live right off of a highway, so it does tend to be a little bit loud in the morning. So I'll get I'm gonna do this in pencil because I may just put them, like I may just keep them like up towards the top or something. And then I'm also going to write out my schedule for cooking. By that, I mean that because I'm doing stuff like bagels and cookies and they're coming from my sourdough starter, I need to kind of like have little notes to myself of like when to start dough and things like that. So I'm gonna throw that on there as to kind of how that ironed out. I've talked about that in previous videos, and I really think I'll probably do something like that for the Orlando trip, because right now the plan is that not only are we going on the trip, but Taylor is actually possibly flying in to meet me early and then staying later. So I will want the house really clean. Obviously, I'll be making stuff like I normally do for Jeff because he'll be house sitting for me. So lots of moving parts and pieces. So I hope some of this is helpful and that you guys enjoy it. But I'm gonna pop over into the voiceover now and like show you guys what we're doing. All right, everybody, so let's get after it. So like I said, I'm going to first make a list of all of the meals that I wanted to cook, which were 3 quiches, because I learned last year that 2 were not enough, but that there would be kind of like a little bit of leftovers every day. Not everybody would get a piece, and so it would just kind of carry over. So that was my goal. I wanted to do 3 batches of bagels, which was honestly way too many. Now that I can say that with the trip being over, I would definitely probably only do 2 batches, if not like just a batch and a half. Originally, I had the plan of doing like pizza bagel bites kind of for lunch, or if kids wanted them, I would have extras, and it was just a lot. I'm also really new to the bread making game, so I'm still kind of struggling with storage and how to keep them fresh. Like, obviously, fresh bagels are A++ if you do them right, but storage can be a little tricky sometimes. I wanted to do 3 different kinds of cookies, which, by the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down below in the description some of the sourdough recipes that I used that I can vouch for that work great. And one of those is my cookie recipe. I love the base of it, and I think they turn out really good every time. And they're almost like borderline a little bit scone-ish, which is kind of nice. So if you're looking for like a cookie but not all the heavy sweetness, this is really a great recipe for you. And what I love is it's always a cup and a half of chocolate chips. So instead of using a cup and a half of chocolate chips for like my pistachio toffee chocolate chip recipe, I basically do half a cup of each of those, so that you still have a cup and a half of inclusions, but that it's not like an exorbitant amount of where you've got all these inclusions and no like dough to really like help you out there. And I feel like that ratio has really worked out well. I've gotten a lot of feedback, so I feel really good about that. So I did a batch of the chocolate chip pistachio toffee cookies, which are a crowd favorite, and I crack a little bit of sea salt on top of them. And then I did some white chocolate macadamia nuts, and then I also did a Reese peanut butter chip and then shoved like Reese cup pieces into the top of it so that you literally had like a piece of Reese cup in like every bite. And it was so good. Those were definitely the crowd favorites. So that was like all the stuff that I knew I wanted to make. And then there were like some meal things that I wanted to account for. I was also planning on doing 2 appetizers at the time. I didn't end up doing either. And I don't know if I actually talked about this at any point in any like weekly plan with me's or anything, but I figured out last year, because the way that we travel as a family is that each household, there's like 3 households basically that are going on this trip. Each household was responsible for cooking a meal every day. And then we usually all go out as a group one night, and then we would have a ton of leftovers as well. So that was kind of our, method, I guess, for making sure that there was enough food, but that it all wasn't on one person or one family to take care of. Well, Jeff and I are both big fans of cooking, so that made our household a little bit difficult, because technically we would cook 2 meals if we had the choice, because we both love to cook. And last year, my meal didn't get cooked. So this year, I had kind of learned from that lesson and been like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a bunch of breakfast stuff and snack stuff and random things that people can grab and eat in conjunction with their lunches, or so that we don't have to bring 6,000 dozen eggs. And it actually worked out really well. And funny enough, I brought appetizer stuff so that if I needed to contribute something else, I could, and I didn't even end up making it. So I literally have a metric F ton of stuff to make piggies in a blanket now, because we didn't make any of them. So there's that. The next part that you see me working on is the list. So going back to what I was saying kind of in the beginning part of this video, I make a list of the meals, then I make a list of all the things that I actually need to make those things, and then I break down that list into like what grocery store what comes from, because some grocery stores have things that others don't, or I prefer that brand over another, and that's where I have to get it. Like right now, the only place I can find my Stonefire garlic and herb crackers, only place is Sprouts. That's it. I don't know why. Used to be able to get them at Publix. Have no idea why. Used to be able to get them at Kroger. Have no idea why. Can't find them anywhere else, so that's where I have to go. So I basically did a bar if it was like multiple things from a location, or like in the case of Sprouts or Publix, I only needed like one item from that place, so that whenever I went to run all of my errands on Friday to start getting these things, I actually started shopping on the Thursday night before on my way home. I think I went to Walmart. And then Friday, I did a good chunk of it. And then Saturday, I wrapped up a little bit after I went to my mom's to get some mail and a float that she loaned me for the beach, which was really cool. And we'll talk about in my kind of vlog video that's coming on Sunday. So look forward to that. More trip news there. But that was just a really fun float. It was a Kevin float from Up, so if you're familiar with the character. But yeah, we'll talk about that on Sunday. But more or less, that's kind of how that list came together. And then right now you see me writing out the schedule. So for instance, I needed to make the pie dough to let it sit. And then I needed to make the quiches and let them sit so I could freeze them. And I did that the weekend before when I had plenty of time to let them air out a good bit. Then I obviously had to plan out when to start bagel dough, when to stretch and fold it, when to shape it, and then when to boil them. And obviously with a trip that's going on over a week, I really wanted to make sure that I made them as fresh as possible, which meant me boiling and baking a majority of things on Wednesday. So any doughs that I needed to have ready to go for Wednesday baking and boiling, I needed to like back up a little bit, because a lot of these things have to sit for like 12 to 24 hours. They have to proof or auto-lyse. Like there's all of those things going on. Again, I will put in the description down below any recipes that I use. I actually have a bagel recipe that's not from an online source. So I will try to put that down in the description if I have time. You guys know I'm not the best with the descriptions, but I'll get it there as soon as I can. And then I left space for journaling as well that I don't show on screen, where I can just kind of talk about the grocery process, the getting the food, the stress of it all, like just kind of my thoughts of preparing for this trip. And then, like I say, I'm going to talk about this in the video clip at the end, what I'm working on right there, which is a quick little grocery list for when we get into Port St. Joe, which we ended up not having to really get any of this because we got it in advance or didn't need it or someone else brought it. But I really do hope that this is helpful, and I'll say that 6,000 times in this video. But if you like this style of videos, please let me know, because I am a planner babe at heart and I love giving tips and tricks to anybody who needs them and appreciates them. So thank you guys so much as always. And I'm going to do a little bit of extra talking after this. Okay, bye. Okay, so all done. So this is, like I said, a breakdown of kind of everything that I wanted to get cooked, or that needed to get cooked or made, that was going to be meal prep and planning. And then in this section, I kind of have like a little rough schedule. This is like a very, I guess, rough. Normally it'd be a little bit more specific, like Saturday prep the pie crust, Sunday actually make them, because you want to let the pie crust sit for a little bit in the refrigerator, and then I needed to freeze them the weekend before, which I did. Monday starting the actual bagel dough at night to stretch and fold the next day and shape, and started the cookie dough because it's best to let your cookie dough sit as well. And then Wednesday obviously boiling and baking up a freaking storm. So that was like the rough schedule. And then you'll notice some things aren't checked off. Like I ended up finding things in my pantry. I think the only thing not checked off is actually the Fritos that I had on hand, and the sandwich bread. Jeff ended up picking it up whenever he was getting stuff for his meal, which was tacos al pastor. And then I've kind of got this blank space here where I think I'm just gonna chat through. I just want to like journal a little bit about getting everything for the beach and my thoughts on that, but I want to keep it a little bit more private. And then on this super cute little sticky note that of course is from Coffee Monster Co. and is like an under the sea theme, I put the list of things that we really needed to get when we got there, like fresh fruit, eggs, milk. Jeff wanted to make like a slaw to go onto his and actually we ended up picking this up on the way, and I think we got milk there as well. I think he got like the slaw and stuff in advance, and we ended up not needing to go out and get anything other people did on the trip, but I actually got us set up pretty good, so I didn't have to do anything like that. But I put it on a sticky note so that we to kind of represent the things that we would need to get when we were in town, which I had the list on my phone, so that I didn't lose this list. But I definitely want to kind of like have it in here somewhere, so I'll probably just use a little piece of washi tape to pop that down and then do my journaling here. But other than that, that is it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I zoomed in a little bit too much there so that you guys were super close while I was doing the actual physical part of this. But I hope that you found this video helpful and it wasn't too rambly. Let me know what you guys think of me doing like little planner videos like this from time to time, especially with the Orlando trip coming up. That's probably the biggest trip I take all year long. And then from there, I'll be kind of transitioning over to Mardi Gras, which is honestly, I really don't do a lot of planning for the Mardi Gras trip because it's kind of an ultimate shit show. Like I really don't know 100% what's going on every day, and they change the plans on me literally every 2 hours. So it's just really a chaotic thing. I just kind of try to pack a million outfits and prep the best I can and run forth into the storm. But Orlando is definitely very regimented. So I might do a video on that once this is a little bit less messy, because right now it's just like I've got kind of what day each thing is happening, or where I think we can plug in some restaurants and things. And then sorry, that's like off camera, I think, a grocery list that I've started. But like I said, there's a very messy version that happens before it gets pretty like this. So let me know if you guys would like more videos similar to this. And thank you guys so much for your support as always. And until next time, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye y'all.